Let's dive into it. The races that I'm going to cover today are going to be RAD Gravel is going to be one of them. And let's see, Tour Down Under, I'll touch on really quick. Low Gap Grasshopper, Fat Bike Worlds happened this weekend. And of course, there was a lot of other races. And it's something I just for fun like to do. And so I thought I'm doing a live session Monday anyways. We're already scheduled. My son and I kind of talked about, should we do some like little podcast or YouTube, show talking about the races and that type of thing. And we hadn't started doing anything like that yet. And I thought, well, heck, I was looking at race results last night, kind of curious, what was going on. Oh, not to mention Arrowhead 135 is underway as of this morning. Minus 18 at the start, I think I heard. So anyway, I have fun doing this. I like tracking, seeing who's where. For instance, there was, some Americans over at the RAD Gravel. Dylan Johnson was over there. So anyways, I thought I would do just a little bit of basic reporting on it, at least from, stuff that pops up in my feed. So I thought it'd be fun. But anyway, yeah, let's dive into it. Let me see. I don't know. We'll figure out which one I want to start with here. Let's do this. Let's start off with RAD Gravel. Gravel is just kind of like a big deal here. So let me see if I've pull this up. And if I go to RAD Gravel, let's look at the women's results. Pretty decently sized field there. You had 50 finishers. And yeah, Melissa Rollins was over there taking second in American. About 3 minutes behind the Winter Nicole Frayne from Australia. But yeah, pretty cool. Tatum Brown, pretty good field. Some Brits there, and good kickoff to the race. This is the results, and I will put links to all of the races and that type of thing down in the description to give credit to where all this information and stuff's coming from. But this, I just want to pull it up, talk about it, that type of thing. As the season goes on, then we'll probably have a little bit more commentary to talk about with the different racers, kind of where they're at and what they're doing. But I believe Melissa is in the Lifetime Grand Prix, if I'm wrong on that. For 2026, someone please correct me. For the men, pretty big field. I'm going to just scrolling down here pretty fast. Hope I'm not making anybody dizzy. But yeah, 312 finishers there. So that's a sizable field. And notably, Romain Bardet showed up for it. So that's pretty interesting. I think we keep seeing more and more pros entering into some of these big gravel races. So pretty excited about that. I like to see that. I think it makes it more interesting. And then I also think we're in this space with gravel racing where we're transitioning from this grassroots sport to pro cycling. And I saw it a couple years ago when Keegan Swenson went over for Gravel Worlds, and there was all this, expectations on him, where he was going to be, and if there was a gap between the top Lifetime pros and then World Tour pros. So I think we obviously see that there is a little bit of a gap there. But if you look at that, Cameron Jones was less than a minute back. And so I think we've got some pretty good racing. And right behind Cameron Jones was Alexei Vermillion. So both of those top Lifetime Grand Prix racers throwing down in a race not that far back from Romain Bardet. So I think we're going to just continue to see the progression of professional gravel racing. And I'm interested to see how many World Tour pros continue to dabble and dip their feet into it. So kind of interesting. And because, yeah, anyway, if you look at this too, so Ian Boswell was over there from the U.S., and Dylan Johnson took 11th, and Lachlan Morton right behind Dylan. And let's see, who else was over there? Mostly Aussies. Yeah, big field. Anyway, so that's Rad Gravel. And what else do we got here? Let's kind of make a big switch, and Fat Bike Worlds I was interested in. So the previous couple years, I believe it was a previous couple 2 years, last year and the year before, Fat Bike Worlds. This is like a self-proclaimed Fat Bike Worlds thing. And this was in the Midwest. It was over in not too far from where our shop is at, just across the river over in Wisconsin. But now it's back out in Colorado. I think there's a deal where they're going to kind of switch back and forth. But pretty big field. If I scroll through here and I go through the last of the results, 131 racers. Not a massive field, but not bad for a fat bike race out in Colorado, Gravel Worlds, or Fat Bike Worlds, self-proclaimed Fat Bike Worlds. The one interesting thing about it, I guess, is if you go through the results, it is definitely a lot of people from Colorado. So it's kind of a, I can definitely look through the results here and I can see that some of the heavy hitters from the Midwest were not there. So I don't think, this is just a personal opinion, this is coming from having a bike shop and watching Fat Bike over the years. I definitely feel like we have gone over the peak of it in the interest. It is still happening a ton around here, because I will get to, I was going to pull up the leaderboard for the Arrowhead 135 that is happening right now, and we'll get that at the end. But and there's quite a few people up there. But anyway, Josiah Middow won that, and looks like there was a little bit of a gap, and then that fat bike field quickly starts to spread out. When you get to the top 20, there's a 20-minute difference in there, and you can go through the results here. Mostly Colorado, Montana, a couple Utah, New Mexico in there, a couple New Mexico. So anyway, Fat Bike Worlds happened. There's your leaderboard for that. The Grasshopper, low gap Grasshopper, this is one. I'm going to pull up the actual PDF of that field, and they don't have it. I wish they had these split for the men and the women so we didn't have to sort too much, or at least just a split for, I think just overall men and women would be totally fine, because I always kind of like to see where, like, for instance, where these juniors show up within respect to the pro field, or some of the masters age guys, where they're showing up in to what the pro field is considered to be. But Alex Wild won it, and it looked like there must have been a sprint finish in the top 5. And 6, 7, yeah, the top 7 looks like that was probably a sprint finish, and then you had a couple-minute gap. Ted King was all the way out there, so that's pretty cool. He's still racing, and pretty early in the season. That's probably a big trip out there. Let's see who else was in there. You've got, Peter Stettin. I was looking for Peter. He was in there 28th. So, like, if you watch his social media, you see a lot of stuff going on with Peter Stettin, kind of announcing his retirement, but not really going away. Should be fun, interesting to watch. I just like following kind of the stuff. And straight up, I'm probably not the best commentator on it. My purpose is not to try to be go commentate on it. It is me looking at this as if I was just sitting on my couch Sunday night, checking out what happened in all the races. And last night it occurred to me, I could just do this live on our shop chat on Mondays. And then if you look at the pro women, you've got Larissa Connors was second, and looks like she was about 4 minutes behind Jen Tave. So pretty cool. Good racing. This looks like a good race and looks like a well attended race actually as well. So pretty cool. And let's see what else we've got going on. Tour Down Under. And some of these, I think, I gotta be a little bit careful. Probably like what I'll share on the screen or whatever, but kind of some quick highlights from that. Jay Vine won that, and it sounds like, and I saw some quick video of it, that two kangaroos ran into the field. Actually, there was a crash and kind of a mess with it. So some of these races that I'm going to talk about too obviously have some like various broadcasting rights and copyright stuff likely on their web pages and stuff. So I just have to be careful doing screen shares probably and resharing that stuff. But I thought that was obviously a something to bring up and chat about. So let's see what else we've got here going on. Yeah. All right. So the last of it, and then we'll shut this down, is, let's see, where am I at? Let me pull my screen back up. Arrowhead 135, and I'm just going to quickly kind of commentate on this. I can't really restream this for too long, but I can commentate on it as well. So Arrowhead 135 started this morning, 7 a.m. I saw some notes on the web that it was like minus 18 at the start. But here's where everybody's at right now. So this is, what is it? We're quarter to 11. And so they are almost 4 hours in. Kyle Lindegaard is 34 miles in. Dave Swanson's not far behind him. Todd Rasmussen and Kate Coward for the women is right there with him as well. So this whole front of this pack is stacked with endurance folks and specifically like fat bike endurance folks. So this should be a pretty good race in there, but pretty cool. So I'll have this feed up all day long in the shop watching it. Pretty cool. I like watching this stuff and keeping track of it. So, but anyway, that's today's live session. And I don't know if there's some cool races that happen over the, I didn't actually go back and share that, but sorry. Here's your track leaders live screen. So sorry, I wasn't sharing that when I was talking about it. But anyway, I highly recommend go out and check out the Arrowhead 135. They'll be racing all day into the night. Probably some people into tomorrow. So, but anyway, like I said, I can't stream this full on because probably some copyright issues there. So anyway, that's it. I got some work to do. Shop opens here in a few minutes, and I'm going to get back to that. So Thursday, I'll be back on with another live. These lives are going to disappear for basically 24 hours. So YouTube can convert them to video on demand, and then I can update the description with links to everything and whatnot. So give credit to all the race results and all that type of stuff. So, but anyway, thought it'd be interesting to cover. Maybe I do more of these. We'll get a little bit better at it. And this was pretty off the cuff. So, but cool. Have a great day, everybody. Later.